Welcome back to another episode of NFL News on the Boomer Bust channel. I'm your host, Terry, and thank you if you're subscribed. If you're not, click that button. Think about subscribing. Either way, hit the thumbs up. All that help grows the channel, and I thank you for it. All right, so we're going to talk about the quarterbacks today. We got some people that's been disrespected, and I want to talk a little bit about the salary cap. So we're going to kick this off with Trey Lance. And full disclosure, I wanted to do this maybe Monday night, Sunday night, but just have not had the time, so here we are. But so I've been thinking about this all week because you listen to all the quote unquote sports media and people talk about this, and it's just crazy to me. So as Bears fans, if you listen to my recap, you know how I feel about that game. You know how I feel about not only Lance but Justin Fields and everybody. It's a monsoon. Like I'm so sick of people like, oh, so what? What do you mean, so what? It literally changes everything. If you think that game is the exact same in a regular weather, then I don't know what to tell you. So yes, it is absolutely a big deal that it happened in a monsoon. And then some people have said, well, the Bears were in the monsoon too. Yeah, and our offense looked horrible. And we had to score off a broken play and a play action because we were getting destroyed all game that they were just running up all day. So let's not sit here and act like Justin Fields and the Bears were prolific on offense. First of all, Trey Lance was really good the first half. As far as what his team was trying to do, which is obviously control the ball and move it down the field. And then, yeah, he had some mistakes, especially when they got behind. But, you know, like, as I said with the Bears, there's nothing to take away from the game except kind of the attitude that people had and the resilience. But other than that, there's nothing to take away from that game. Like, football-wise, there's nothing you should be talking about. You should take no stakes in that. So I've been shocked to hear people talk all week about Trey Lance, how horrible he was. And I'm like, did y'all watch the same game that I watched? I mean, it's one thing if you just look at the numbers. Yeah, anybody could do it. And it's the same thing every year. People aren't going to listen. They're not going to learn. But I'm going to just keep talking to the wind. Numbers don't tell you the complete story. It actually tells you very little of the story. So if you look at the numbers like, dang, he sucked. No, you have to actually watch that game. But then the other thing is no one is really taking into account the weather conditions. You're not going to have weather conditions like that ever again in your career, probably. Maybe once again in your career. So it's just silly. And then I know people talking about it's going to be raining in San Fran this week or wherever their game is, but it ain't going to be raining like it was in Chicago. I've never even seen something like that in Chicago all the times that I've been watching the Bears. So that was a very off-the-grid type game. So all this Trey Lance stuff is silly. I'm not saying that he's great. I'm not saying that he's already proven. What I'm saying is you cannot take that data into consideration. You're just going to have to wait for some more. Even if it was a regular game and he had a great game or he had a horrible game, you still shouldn't take too much of it without a grain of salt. But still, I would say that because with the weather, you really can't take too much into consideration. So the Trey Lance disrespect is crazy. Let that man earn that disrespect first rather than what y'all trying to put on him because of that game. Like, Jimmy G wasn't going to do nothing different in that game either. So let's just calm down. All right, the other person, and I talked about him last year, and last year was crazy now you look back on it. Aaron Rodgers. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And it was even before the game. Which is, again, I said I wanted to do this a while back. I just don't understand it. Like, Aaron Rodgers could do the same thing that other quarterbacks do, and people will spin it negatively every single time. And look, I get it. If you want to be Shannon Sharp or somebody else and come out and say, I don't like him, he's a this, he's a that, okay. Own your bias, but still have some objectivity when it comes to the, to the game. But people just talk so much crap about Aaron Rodgers, which is crazy to me. Especially like they play without their tackles, both of their starting tackles. That is a huge situation. Now, we heard no end about Pat Mahomes when he didn't play with his tackles in the Super Bowl. And make no mistake, they got whooped. But you got to take that into consideration. Then you're taking on Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter is probably going to be one of the better duos in the league. Like, bro, that makes a huge difference. And then, like, and this extends a little to the receivers. People need to calm down. Again, it is, yes, we saw Christian Watson drop that pass. It was huge. It's all the narratives coming together in one play. But still, you watch the rest of the game, they act like they dropped every single pass that he threw. I think the bigger deal is going to be about them understanding the routes and the plays and kind of knowing what Aaron expects them to be. But the narrative that's ran wild is, oh, no one on the Packers could catch. And it's just so disrespectful to and I don't care about the, you know what I mean. No, screw that. Say what you mean. Don't use weak hyperbole. And that's all people are doing. It's very annoying. But Aaron Rodgers himself, and this was happening last year, like I said, and I think the year before that, but he does the Pat McAfee show. I watch all his interviews. And without fail, the next day, every person on Fox, I don't really watch ESPN too much, but every show on Fox is going to take a clip and they're going to take his words out of context and try to flip it. And it just blows my mind to sit there and listen to this man week after week, hear him explain exactly what he was thinking, how it went, have like regular conversations, civil conversations with everybody else, and then yet somehow they just crap on this man when he or when they get on their show and somehow twist everything he's, and it's just crazy to me. So whatever, because I'm a Bears fan and I've never made it a secret. I've always been a fan of Aaron Rodgers as a player. I always want to beat the Packers and everything, but, it's weird for me to have to sit here and defend Aaron Rodgers so much, the dumb stuff they say. It reminds me a lot of Jay Cutler, and obviously that was our quarterback, but still, like, even our own fans, like, they say so much stupid stuff that wasn't true, and it's just part of the narrative that everybody likes to paint, and they think it's funny, and then narrative becomes truth, and it shouldn't. So, Aaron Rodgers, they've been getting on him too much. Russ Wilson, I don't got a whole lot to say. All I'll say is this. All this in a nutshell is the same thing I always say about football. It is a team sport. Like, everybody tries to take segments and turn it into one part of the story to talk about as if it's the whole thing. Oh, Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns week 1. How can Mahomes, or how likely is it Mahomes takes them to the Super Bowl? That's not how it goes. Quarterbacks don't take you anywhere. Nobody takes anybody anywhere. It takes a team. And so I'm so sick of all these people, and obviously because it's week 1, making all these dumb narratives. Like, yes, being in Seattle with the 12th man is a huge thing. And number one, that's not on Russ to build the time in the operation. That's on the coaches. So people are like blaming Russ for delayed games and stuff, like he was the one that put together the game plan. They're like, oh, he's from Seattle, he knows how loud it gets. How come he ain't had his team ready? What? He's not the coach. But still, that's a factor. That offensive line was getting hella pressure. They barely had time to do anything as far as throwing in the first half. And it's just, it all works together. It all works together, man. And so I don't understand why, no matter who it is we're talking about, people want to break off into these random narratives. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the salary cap. I mentioned Lamar Jackson before. We know Deshaun Watson. We know all this stuff. And I think what's really sparking the conversation right now is Dak Prescott. Because here, once again, prior to injury, you see Dak Prescott not being the type of quarterback they need him to be. And then he gets injured to add to a list of injuries and all that, whatever. And really, I don't think the injuries matter too much. It's the play. The point is, this idea of every next person gets the biggest contract. When you're a quarterback and those contracts are the biggest, you're paying the biggest chunk of money for somebody that's not good. And so people talk about there's no way Baltimore should let Lamar walk. There was people that was saying Kirk Cousins shouldn't have walked. Obviously, people said Dallas can't let Dak walk when he was getting ready to come up for his contract. And it's like, yes, you have a solid quarterback or whatever, but is the solid quarterback worth the amount of money? And so there's always talk of there might need to be a QB salary cap, and it's just like, what are we going to do? To me, the writing on the wall is simple. Without intervention, which is a QB salary cap or something, without intervention, if you just let the market play out, they're going to stop paying most quarterbacks. That's all that's going to happen. What's going to happen is that you're going to have pretty much what I'm going to call the Dak effect. You're going to have teams that are like, we are not able to pay you top dollar unless you're a top tier quarterback. Right now it's, hey, we got to pay every quarterback. I think the market is going to take us to a place where there's either going to be getting paid a lot of money or a little money. And not like a little, like vet minimum, but compared to what quarterbacks are getting now. I think they're going to have to reestablish the foothold of, or the threshold of what determines you to be a quarterback that can get this type of money. That's where I think the market is headed, because you can't continue to pay guys like Dak Prescott, and you can't, continue to pay a guy like Kyler Murray when you don't know what I don't care that you get to the end of your contract or a point where you don't have guaranteed money and you think I need to pay you. I don't care. If I'm an owner, I don't care. Like, until you're free, you're going to have to show us. And if you don't show us, then okay. And if not, we'll let you walk. It's just that simple. Like, screw the GM. Oh, we got a new GM. Now we can get rid of the quarterback. No. As a team and as a league, I think it's going to move to a place where they're going to punt. And what you're going to see is a little bit like Trubisky had to go through this free agency. But I think that's what you're going to have. I think you're going to have a lot of teams waiting on quarterbacks and holding out for like a young stud rookie if they don't have a franchise quarterback. And then if they don't get a young stud rookie or something doesn't work out, then they're going to go to these, what I'm going to call second level or second market quarterbacks. And I think a lot of the quarterbacks that are starting right now are going to find themselves as second market quarterbacks. So that's my thoughts. Anyway, go down comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.